Alright guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at Plug Power stock. It's been a while since we haven't talked about this name. Today it's up 12% and it had pretty much made quite a bit of a move for the past week or so. And I'm gonna switch to a daily chart and we'll take a look at the daily chart for this stock. I think just like with Tesla, we have talked about electric cars. My idea stays the same with solar stocks and these renewable stocks, that if oil prices keep pushing higher, it will benefit these stocks. So crude oil today, yeah, it's flat, but if you look at the crude oil for the past 2 months or so, we hit these $80 levels from these $62 levels, and it still keeps going. And if we go back, like let's go back 20 years, you can see, so the last time oil was above 75, it was back here in 2014. So these are the levels where oil pretty much traded at $100 range, $90, $110, and that was 2011, 2012, 13, 14, and then in 2014 we know Russia sanctions, and then that's when oil dropped all the way till 30 and then came tested 70, and now we're getting above that level. I understand that there's a lot of people could be saying, oh, inflation and all that stuff. That, yeah, true, but there's also oil shortage as well. So we have demand picking up slowly as well, but there's shortage, and OPEC, I don't think they have an intention to pretty much flood the market with oil. So that's why I think these stocks are going up. So now let's get back to Plug Power. We have on a daily chart, these are the levels. So we had this stock pretty much hit this $24 level as a support multiple times, didn't give back this level, and then to the upside it had this $30 level. I was watching this $30 level as a resistance. Today it did gap over that, so we had $2 gap, and then it kept pushing higher, and this push right here with pretty big volume. So if you look at the volume, almost 80 million shares traded. So for the past ever since stock has slipped from these $35 levels, you haven't seen the stock trade with this much of a volume. So from here, for me, it would be this $35 level as a basically I will be watching that level as a resistance. So this 35, and then these 37.50-ish levels. So this is the resistance I'm watching at the moment. And also if I switch to let's take a look at while we're on a daily chart, moving averages. So if you take a look at this chart here, we have this red line here on top, which is a 200-day moving average. So at the moment it's $35.15. So that's the level I will be watching as a resistance for the first time. If it hits that level, I think it will reject that level. And also I'm gonna switch to weekly chart, and on a weekly chart I'll show you this green line that I have. What the hell is that? So it is a trend line I was watching back since 2014. That was acting as a support, and now if it comes back to test this level, just like with 200-day moving average, it's somewhere right there. So I think for the first time, if it rejects, if it pulls back and then tries to break out, I think that would be the case. But again, it's not it doesn't have to work out exactly like that, but I'm watching at that level as a resistance. Okay, it's not, nothing is 100%, it's just pure technicals. So from here to go long, there's quite a bit of a risk because the reward is not that much. So reward is going from 33.50 all the way to 35, so $2, but you're risking until next support. Next support from here is this $30 level. So can it pull back to 30 bucks? Yes, of course. It can pull back to that level, and then from there it can push higher. But so far, looking good, bullish until it hits these resistance levels around 35, 50, $36 levels, and that 200-day moving average. So also, if we take a look at the option market today, so we have 300,000 calls were traded, 320 to be exact, and 100,000 puts were traded today so far. So we have like 10 minutes until market close, but there are a lot of bullish calls that came in because of that gap, and because maybe there are some shorts as well. I think it has pretty large float, okay? And if you look at it, there are a lot of spreads. If you look at the condition of these biggest orders, so I filtered out by the biggest orders that came in. So it looks like people are going for 35 calls, 40 calls, 33, 34, 30, and they're all for October and November. So there are some December 40 calls as well, but there are a lot of spreads. So it could be someone who is playing debit spreads. It could be someone who is pretty much selling these credit spreads. But to me, by looking at this option market, I can say, yeah, slightly bullish, definitely. And definitely 3 times more calls were traded, but you don't know who is buying those calls and who are selling those, who are writing those calls. So implied volatility for plug, it went up 100% at the moment. By November 19th, stock is pretty much implying $7 move to the upside or to the downside. So that's what's going on with Plug Power. I hope you guys like it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.